Hello, I'm Dan Coatsworth, editor of Shares magazine. I'm here today to talk to you about director dealings. Investors love looking for signals to gauge whether a company should be doing well or not. These signals can be sector specific, such as looking at housing market data to judge trading conditions for house builders. Or it might be manufacturing data to see how engineers or industrial firms might be performing. Other ways to gain an insight into a company's health is to look at their trading updates and financial results. But perhaps a lesser appreciated signal is director dealings. Now, this is where a director of a company either buys or sells shares in their employer. So directors should know a business better than anyone else. In particular, a chief executive, chairman, finance director or an operations director should know everything that's going on in a business. They will see data on sales, costs and various other key performance indicators. They will be involved in strategy meetings and know if a company is achieving its goals or not. Now, they should also be able to spot if something bad is coming up and whether a company has major challenges to overcome. A non-executive director could argue they aren't involved in the day-to-day running of a business, but they will certainly be privy to top-level discussions at board meetings, giving them a valuable insight into a company. Now, given this powerful knowledge, a director buying or selling shares can send clear signals to the market. There is an argument to suggest that someone using their own money to buy stock in their employer must be very confident about the company's prospects. But on the flip side, if they're cashing out and selling stock, do they know something we don't? It is important to stress that director buying and selling isn't a signal for other investors to copy them. Instead, you should consider their actions as part of a deeper research into a business. Directors can only buy and sell at certain times of the year. They can't deal in a closed period, which is when financial accounts are being prepared. They also cannot buy or sell if there is undisclosed inside information, such as news of a possible takeover or a big contract win or loss. Directors' buys and sells have to be reported to the stock market, so it's easy to find out who is doing what. So what do these signals mean? A director buying stock after a big rally in the share price sends a strong signal to the market that the person is very confident about a company's prospects. Equally, someone selling after a slump in the share price doesn't show much faith in a company's position. Now, these situations are not always black and white. Some directors buy stock for a perfectly logical reason. For example, a newly appointed chief executive of a FTSE 100 company often has a clause in their employment contract that they must buy a certain amount of shares so as to align their interests with shareholders. Directors can also sell stock for personal reasons which have no reflection on the state of a company. For example, this might be to fund a divorce or because they need to raise money to pay for someone in their family to have medical care. You also quite often see directors sell some shares when they receive stock as part of a bonus payment. They're selling to raise enough money to pay the associated tax bill. Unfortunately, most directors do not disclose the reasons behind their share purchases or disposals apart from these meeting tax liabilities. Make sure you look to see if there are clusters of directors buying or selling at the same time. A group of 3 or more directors doing the same thing can send a strong signal to the market. The significance of share deals in relation to the number of shares held by a director can also be relevant. For example, a purchase of 20,000 shares by a chairman who owns more than 1 million shares may not be that important. However, the finance director doubling their holding of 20,000 shares is a very different matter. In a similar way, a sales director selling 20,000 shares out of a holding of 25,000 wouldn't be a good sign. And finally, it's worth being alert to whether or not the directors are buying shares just to give the impression everything is fine, when it might not be. Sometimes when companies are known to be in trouble, a cluster of directors buy a few shares to try and reassure the market that all is well. It's important to stress that you should always do your own research and not blindly follow the actions of directors when they buy or sell stocks. Thanks for watching.